Hello, and welcome to this edition of B.E.P Talks. A very, very intriguing and very special guest today, I'm so happy to have here, is Stacy Cargnelutti. Welcome, Stacy.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here.
Our absolute pleasure. I have to tell you, truly from my heart, I fell in love with you when I went to your website, which is, by the way, Stacy, Stacey, C.com, stacyc.com. Go there, you will fall in love with her as well. So much to talk about today. I know that you come from a very personal place. What brought you to where you are today? And I guess we could say that about everybody. It is about our beliefs, our experiences, and our passions. Tell me a little bit, share with us, what has brought you to this place?
I was in my 20s, living life. I had a vision when I was young, like a big, long to-do list. And after I graduated from college, got the job, got the car, got the condo, got the dog, got the husband, I had no more vision. And it was very interesting because that's when my life went crazy. I was working. My husband was working nights. I was working days. And so I had all this free time. Went out, got my master's degree, but I had no more vision. And so there was no reason to really discipline my life or restrain me in any way. And I went crazy and ended up in jail one night, got arrested for drunk driving, got in a car accident that should have killed me. But I got arrested, didn't hurt anybody. And that was a miracle. And it was that night in jail that, like, sobering up at about 2 or 3 in the morning, that I kind of woke up and I realized this is not me. Nothing about this resonates, with my identity. This is not who I am. And I started out on a truth quest. And that's when I came to the knowledge of the truth. I had an encounter, with truth himself is what ended up happening. Went through therapy, 12-step meetings, and then all of a sudden it was like I opened up the Bible. That's where everything got really real. And my whole life changed.
Beautiful. And thank you for so humbly sharing that experience. I think waking up in jail, with no pun intended, sober up anybody. And I think it wasn't so much about being there in the space of the jail per se, but being there where you were in your life, because you said you had no more vision.
Yes.
So very important. Lesson number one, always have a vision. Know what the next step is. Know what your next goal is.
Yes. If we're not moving towards something, we're moving away and backwards. It's like, as living beings, right? We're either growing and progressing or we're dying and regressing. And that was my experience. It was unbelievable, really. I had about I graduated 23 to about 30. So maybe 6 years of fun. And then it got ugly and it wasn't fun anymore.
Well, it sounds like you did a life's worth of fun in that shorter period of time, let me say. I want to let viewers know that coming from a very personal place that you've just humbly shared with us, that you are an international best-selling author, you're a teacher, you're a speaker, you're a coach, you're a mentor. I loved finding out about your book, Egypt to Canaan. Sounds kind of metaphorical to me. Your story.
Well, it is my story, and it took 10 years to publish it. I didn't realize that that's what was happening. I would wake up every morning before dawn, and I would journal and read and journal, and so much was being revealed to me about the truth of who I am and why I'm here and what the plan and purpose for this whole life on earth is about. And one day I was walking out to the couch to do my normal morning routine, and I got apprehended. It was like I stopped, and this voice said, go to the computer instead of to the couch, because I was writing by hand, but I had so many journals. There was no way I would have been able to organize all that. And it was like God told me, this romance. It was a very divine romance, very sacred romance. It's no longer just about you and I. It's a much bigger, there's a big assignment here. And I started writing on the computer every morning, and then the book came, then I realized I'm writing a book. I'm not just journaling. So the book
that was never your vision. It was never your intention to sit down and write a book.
No.
It just, it flowed from you so very freely. So obviously it was meant to be. And I too am a believer that it's all on divine time, if you will. not necessarily our own time. You have with your coaching and your programs, I read that you have a 3-step program for transformation. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, I use it's a very simple, awareness is the first step. Coming into that place of awareness that this is really where I'm at. Like
Mhm.
this is not good, right? And getting to that place is it's a big holy deal because naturally we just keep going and we don't want to recognize our need for help or our need for change. And so coming to that sobering place of like, yeah, I'm not okay with this. The awareness of where I'm at and the awareness that I am, ready for change and desire something more for my life. So that basically is what's going on in that first step. We disrupt the patterns and we get honest about where we're at
Yeah,
and where we want to be. And
yeah.
then the second step is aligning, just getting into alignment with the truth, because I believe that there really is an absolute truth. There is a way that we've been designed to function. And if we are running lies through our system, we are headed for destruction, right? And so sooner or later, all of us come to that place where we're like, wait a minute, I'm not a loser. I'm not just a body. I am a living, breathing being of consciousness, so getting in alignment with the truth really does set you free. And if something isn't setting you free, it's not the truth. And so alignment is the second step, and the third step is activation, really getting into some massive action that corresponds with the truth. And so that's how we sustain higher levels of consciousness and the life that we're here to live.
I love that. Now you see why I love you, because you made that so simple. It doesn't have to be this process that takes the rest of your life, even though it is a life's work
Yeah,
that we keep finding. We become more aware of where we are in the moment, get realigned, and then activate that should be an ongoing process, because
right.
you actually proved it to us. Once you had no vision anymore is when you fell apart.
Fell apart.
So, I always say we have to have the courage to close our eyes at night.
Oh, so good. Yeah.
What gives us the courage to close our eyes at night? And then what gives us the strength to put our feet back on the floor the next day? There has to be that something. And
Yes.
and am I right, based on your expertise, is that it mostly has to come from within?
Yes.
So
There,
is it in all of us
yes,
naturally?
I do. I believe that every single person has eternity placed in their heart, as well as a seed of greatness. So I believe that that is the divine nature that God breathed into us. You can go right back to the very beginning, and it was God's breath that brought that first being to life. So life really is spiritual. It's the breath, the very breath of God. And so that's what we're talking about, is that divine nature. And until we become aware of who we really are and what's really inside of us, there's no way we can tap into that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it gives me
So
the chills, like just talking about it. It's just incredible. It really is incredible what we have
so
access to.
it's really accepting, to your point, and without getting too much into religion per se, but I'm a believer. So yes, where life came from, and in His image,
Yes.
who am I to think, and we know that wonderful thing from Marianne Williamson, who am I, to play small? I'm great.
That's
I
right.
am a divine creature. There is greatness in me. So
Yeah.
why do so many people, are the individuals fighting it, or are they being told, are we being told by others or outside sources that we don't have that strength within us?
I really think that it is religion that has gotten in the way, because we are spiritual beings. Like, that's who we are. We're spiritual, and that's not religious. And so I
No.
do believe that religion has gotten in the way of all of this and clouded things and confused things. And I just don't believe that there's anything about being spiritual that has to be religious. And so I think that it's religious spirits that have gotten us to this point of absolute confusion. So that's what's so exciting, is that I get to deliver the truth to people when they're ready to receive it. And it's the most liberating, empowering, exciting news they've ever heard, ever. It's life changing, right? Yeah.
So that's interesting, because I know there's a difference between religion and spirituality. I believe that you can have both.
Yeah.
I think that you can be a spiritual being. I believe we are spiritual beings. And if we choose to be a part of a more formal organization, a particular denomination of a religion, what have you, they don't have to count each other out. They can play nice together.
Yes, absolutely.
So, okay, so the first step is awareness. Is there a process? Is there a series of questions that, if you're coaching someone, that you ask them?
Yes, from the very beginning, I say, what symptoms are you experiencing in your life right now that are painful, that are uncomfortable, that you don't like, that you would like to maybe help these go away? That,
What's the most, I like that word, symptom.
yeah,
What's the most common answer you get to that question?
depression, anxiety,
Oh,
depression. Oh, anxiety and depression, a lot of conflict in the home, just fighting, strife, can't get along with people, a lot of spinning in their head, overthinking. And then there's the other, because of the disconnect, we end up addicted. So people are addicted to alcohol, addicted to food, addicted to something. They're finding some way to, numb that pain. The pain is the pain of disconnect. They're not connected as a triune being, spirit, soul, body. If we're not connected to one part of us, we have a disconnect even within our very self. And that's very painful, right? And so you have to do something with that pain. And so we try to run away from it by numbing, or, and so that's where the pain
so
comes.
what I say to that is looking for love in all the wrong places.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. And really the opposite of addiction is really, I mean, we could say love, but it's connection. It's a connection, a deep connection to ourselves and to God, who is love, and to others, because love gives. Until we love others, we don't experience love. So it is, a deep connection to ourselves, God, and others that solves the problem, that is the remedy to addiction. And some people will say there is no solution. Once an addict, always an addict. No, we are all love addicts. All of us are we have to have love and connection. That is like number one human need. And without it, we become addicted. We become sick and diseased and all kinds of things.
And as you said, the word numbing, trying to make those pains go away in all the wrong places.
Yeah.
So when we get to the second step of alignment, so let's assume that it's depression, as you're saying, that disconnect within the family, within themselves, within their own beings, not recognizing their own gifts, their own talents, their own potential. Yeah. Talk to us then about the alignment process.
Well, what we find out when we begin to uncover these, we disrupt the patterns in people's lives. We notice, like, I'll say to somebody, is this feeling familiar? And they'll say, yeah. And I say, take me back to the very first time that you had this feeling of deep, deep sorrow or sadness. And I have them close their eyes, and I'll wait. I hold that space for people to go there. And often it goes way back to when they were 6 or 4 or 7. So those early years are the years that we are developing our original belief system. And that's right. That's at a time when we're surviving. I mean, coming to earth is a very traumatic experience. I've heard it said that just being birthed is the most trauma we'll ever experience. But so we're trying to figure life out, relationships, the world, all of it, right? And so we're kind of in a survival place of trying to stay alive in this world. And so we're forming our belief system from birth to about 8 years old or so. So those original beliefs are survival. That's the survival mind.
And
so
as we were taught, those are the wonder years, the formative years. If you remember from the old commercials and such, that, 1 through 12, we're so easily, I guess we're impressionable at those. And they say that we learn most of everything we know. The majority of what we learn is by age 2.
Yes.
So I'm a big believer that the breakdown of the family is so much at the root of so many things, that if we could bring the family unit back together, the calm under a roof. I grew up in the generation where, 8 of us sat around a dinner table together every night. And we had conversation. We weren't bringing these things to the table. These things didn't exist.
Right.
And we actually enjoyed, talking and sharing and learning about each other and follow up. When the households got so busy, and I saw it in the next generation to mine, with my nieces and nephews were so overloaded with after school activities and such, that's what was sacrificed. It was that family time.
Yeah.
That the most valuable thing of all became disposable. What I thought was indispensable became disposable. How do you feel about that? About the family?
So everything. I was so passionate about family dinners. I remember when I have 3 kids of my own, and they played soccer and dance and all the things. And I was like, I just want us all sitting around the table, because I grew up the same way. And it's like, that is our time to receive the unconditional love that's supposed to be in the parents. You're right. It should be in the family, but kids grow up realizing, like, I don't have that unconditional love, so I got to go out and earn it. So that would be one of the first lies that would be exposed, right? Is that I have to perform in order to get the connection that I need, or I have to give up the attachment. So that, as a baby, we need that deep connection to the source of our supply, which from the get-go is mother, right? Mother is the source, and then the mother and the father, and then the mother and the father and the siblings for the village and the connection that we need with regular people. And so all of that should be in the family, but you're right. That's what got attacked. And so pretty soon nobody had any of that. And so now the kids grow up thinking that they need to sacrifice their expression or their authenticity in order to gain the attachment that's so critical. We need connection. We need to be attached to something. And so we'll let go of our authentic expression, or we start performing for the connection that we need. Or the love that we need. And so absolutely, that's what has happened.
So when you go back with your clients and you're trying to go back to the alignment with the truth about the root cause, if you will, is it always able to be recalled?
Yeah. Oh, they don't always have memories from childhood, which is fine. They don't have to. I don't need them to go back to childhood. It's just sometimes they do. But what's important is that they acknowledge that they are performing for love, or they're sacrificing. I call it prostitution. We are giving up our expression so that we can gain the approval of another person. That's kind of like prostituting, right? I'll give up me to be loved by you. And that's what ends up happening. And that means that you think that you have to earn somebody's love. And that's a lie, because we have love. God is love, and it is perfect, unconditional love.
Just the way it is.
You are loved. So that's one of the first things that we have to deal with. The truth is, you are loved, and you are relentlessly pursued, and you are worth dying for. Whatever love is here. And
you are loved. You are lovable. You are lovable.
Yeah.
You are loved. You mentioned before about, the trauma of coming into this world. And I was wondering how far back people go, because there was, years ago, and well, you would know perhaps, when people spoke about primal scream, about going back to the moment of your birth, that people, and that is a trauma, not just for the mother, but the baby coming into the world this way.
It's funny that you said primal scream, because I honestly believe that when I tapped in, I believe in getting access to our feelings again. I very much disconnected from my body. And I was like, I've been a fitness instructor all my life. So I would work out like crazy. I taught PE all day, and then went to the gym and taught the adults, and I barely would eat. So I suffered from anorexia and all kinds of things. But the point of all of that is so that I didn't have to feel anything. Like literally, that's what we're running from, is we don't want to feel this pain of the disconnect. So when I was going through my own process, I would have to lay on the couch for like ever to just try to get to a feeling. Like, what am I really feeling?
Right.
Finally, after weeks of laying on the couch and coming up with nothing except for muscle soreness, I'm like, my abs are kind of sore. Finally, I felt something stirring in my belly, like deep, and it's kind of scared me, but I was so committed to the work. I'm like, I am not moving, because everything in me wanted to get up, grab a book, or turn the music on, or I was like, no, no, I am going to feel this. And it was like, it lifted me up off the couch. I ran into my backyard. I lived on a busy street at the time, and I let out this, it was a primal scream. I let out this like, ah, like a roar of a lion. I didn't know what it was. It was just everything came out of me, and I was free. Like it was that moment that I got access to my emotions. And after
Wow.
the anger came out, then the sadness, and I cried, and all of it happened within 1 minute. Like that was what was
Oh,
radical.
wow.
It's that people will carry these emotions. We suppress for a lifetime. And it only took about 1 minute to get all of that emotion out of my body and free me to be able to express myself. And I've never stopped since. Like that's what I do, is I help women
It's a
connect with their
process, like you
pagan
said, it's
and their
not,
voice.
yeah. You mentioned a 12-step process also, that, that it is a process. Is there anybody who can't successfully go through this? Is there anybody who can't successfully, first of all, you have to want it. You have to want,
You gotta want it. Absolutely. Desire is everything. I wanted to be free. Absolutely. And the
eh,
12-step programs, my therapist sent me to 12-step programs. I only went for a time. And then all of a sudden I had my own encounter with truth. And I've never gone back to 12 steps, because now I have the truth. And so
well,
I
yeah,
don't, I love them. They're great and they're so wonderful. That's where my beginnings were.
and
But
then
I don't believe I have to be an addict forever. I don't believe I have to be anything forever. I get to be free and loved and not bound to the old label, which is I'm an alcoholic, or I'm a codependent, or I'm a sex addict, or I'm a like Overeaters Anonymous, I'm a food addict, a gambler. These labels will stay on people forever. And once that's your confession, we are designed to believe ourselves. And so you'll just continue to sow into that. And so I believe people can be free of that. And you don't have to say I'm addicted. You get to say I am loved, and I'm deeply connected, and I am extravagantly provided for, and I have every resource under heaven to make my life great. So
I'm going to guess that you would agree with me that the person who has to love you the most is you.
yeah, absolutely. And I don't, loving self can be a weird, I mean, I know we talk about it all the time now, but really what I believe is that we need to care for. Like, I believe true love gives. Like, when you're really, really loving, you are going to have this generous, compassionate, like overflow of life to give others. That is true divine love. But I need to care for myself. And so if that's what love is, then I can agree with that. I need to steward my health, my
Yes.
mind, my
Yeah,
heart, my
it doesn't
body.
mean, yeah, it doesn't mean being, personally indulgent for, about anything,
Right.
about any material things, that you gift yourself. It's an inner peace.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I'm fine just the way I am. And I love the saying that somebody else's opinion of me is none of my business.
None of my business.
It's what you think of
Yes.
me, none of my business. But you
Yes.
have to have peace in yourself. And if you don't, do you agree with me? You can't give away that which you do not have.
100%.
So it
100%.
comes from overflow. So you have
Yep.
to fill yourself up first. It's like in the airplane where they say, put the oxygen on yourself. You can't
Yep.
save anybody else if you're drowning.
That's it.
It's just practical. So the
Yep.
third step, activation. Okay, so we're aware, we've aligned, we have found our truth. And I imagine that's different for everybody.
No, it's just action. It's corresponding action. It's actually like actualizing the truth. And so the mission is to live out the truth of who we are. So once I understand that I am loved, that I am abundant, that I am worthy, that I am resourced, right? Now I'm going to put corresponding action to those beliefs. First, we have to be before we can do. Everything I do comes from who I am. So once I believe I'm loved, what action am I going to take today because of that belief? What does that look like? So in that regard, it is a little personal for each of us. But today, what does love look like for you today? What does being abundant mean today? What does it look like for you in action today? And so that's the personal part.
You
Absolutely.
know,
And we need
yeah, if you're,
accountability. We need support to stay in action until these new actions become the new us, right? The true us,
yeah,
really. Yes.
yeah. And to be giving and doing for others as we're supposed to be, but for the right reasons, not looking for their approval. It's because
Yes.
it's, first of all, it's just the right thing to do.
Yes.
And if you are in that place of your own truth, it comes very easily.
It really is an overflow. Like until
Yeah,
we're giving from the overflow, it's not right. When we give from our own sustenance, I believe that that is very risky business. There are times when that can happen, but
yeah.
it's a gift. That's an anointing when that happens. Otherwise, we need to be filling ourselves up in the morning and then overflowing into the lives of others. That's true, generous compassion and love.
Yes. And then it's in that it's in giving that we receive, kind of a thing, which is a beautiful song. It's in giving that we receive, because it fills back up again.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's so interesting, and I'm a common sense person, I'm a practical person, I'm a logical person, and it all makes such sense. I will also say I'm a very blessed person, and that I think I've always known who I am because of how I was raised, among, with a big family, and we all had that common thread, obviously, and yet our individuality,
Yeah.
and that we respected each other for different reasons, perhaps because you were stronger here, you were stronger there, and you grow up, and then what? You keep doing. Is it hopeless for anybody, or does
No,
every no, no?
no,
So I want
I
everybody to hear that it's never hopeless.
never
You
hopeless.
have to, right. So
Never.
like anything else, again, going back to, you have to say, I have a problem, or maybe that's not the right language. I have a need, I have a feeling, I want more, I
Yeah,
am more, I
yeah,
can do more, I can be more,
yeah.
and I'm ready. Show me
And
how.
I'm ready. That's it. That's it.
So, woohoo! So when someone gets to that point, Stacy, how do they work with you?
Stacy, the website that you sent them to, stacyc.com, staceyc.com. Go there and you can schedule a free consultation. And we are just going to explore and we're going to find out if we have some work to do together. It very much is a collaboration and it's exciting. It's a transformational journey and nothing like it.
And I think anywhere where there is hope, hope is, for me, that's kind of a hard thing to talk about. What is it? It's like, it's an elusive sort of a thing. You know what it is, but when you try to express it, but wherever there is that notion of hope, that it can be, it could be, there's something else out there. I could be more, I can be more, I can do. You've inspired me so much because, as I said, I know that I'm a very blessed person, but it's the littler things. We all have room in our lives for improvement. We all
Absolutely.
need that. We all need to have stacyc.com in our life to go to.
Yep.
And we put up here where listeners can just go right there and click that link. I want to kind of wrap up. I love that there's no one who can't benefit from this.
Absolutely. And I work with a lot of very successful people that are already crushing it in life, but they know the value of a coach. It's unbelievable that we are created to be with. And my book, Egypt to Canaan, it goes back to the Bible journey. God gave us Joshua and Caleb and Moses. There was always somebody to walk with us. We do not cross any finish line by ourselves. And when
No.
we recognize that we need the support and the accountability and the insight and we've all got some blind spots and we just have a need for one another. That's what it means to be human. So
That's so beautiful. A need
yeah.
for one another, at least for connect with yourself. And if you're lucky, one other wonderful person in your
Yep.
life.
Yeah.
I love that. I've actually said that everybody needs a coach. You can take,
Yeah.
okay, so we just had recently, the Super Bowl here, the football game, and you look at the best among the best among the best, and who's on the side? The coach.
Yeah.
And who's up in the booth? The offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, the trainer, the this, the that. And the people who are executing are the best at that, but they're not the best at everything. They still need a coach. You need a mentor. And how wonderful to know that someone like yourself and many other great coaches are out there, and you are an available resource there for the taking.
Yeah. And I also help other people monetize their mess, turn their mess into a message and monetize it, because we are all in this together. We all have a story of hope and redemption. And once we've walked through it, we really are qualified to help somebody else walk through the same place. We might only be 10 steps ahead of somebody, but that's enough to make a real difference in somebody else's life. So
Yeah.
it's beautiful, beautiful
I
work.
say not just qualify, but I think I look at it as a little bit of a responsibility.
Oh, I love that. Yes, a moral obligation, right? Like, of course, how dare we not? How dare we not? Yeah.
Here's a really silly example. I'm not like a giant, but I'm taller than the average woman. And like walking down, I just always seem to be in the right place at the right time. Like walking down an aisle and you see a shorter person trying to reach up, and what can I get for you? Something as simple as that. And
Yeah.
they think that like, oh my gosh, what you've done. And it's like the simplest little thing, or just smiling at someone who doesn't have a smile on their face. They
Yeah.
need to receive a smile.
Yep. Yep.
And
We
guess
are all
what?
connected. Yes.
Guess what? They tend to smile back. When
Yeah.
I used to get on the elevator in an office, these big elevators in New York City, there could be, 15 people on the elevator. And when it would start stopping at different floors, I'd say, have a lovely day. When I got off at my floor, I'd say, everybody have a blessed day. And people, it was like nobody ever responded. And as it happened more and more, and you're not on the elevator with the same people every day at the exact same time, but you spread it around. Things like that can become contagious. And
Yes.
suddenly people were saying it. A simple little thing like that, it really is a gift that you can give somebody.
Yeah. We really do matter.
We do, and
We
you
matter.
matter. I feel so blessed to have met you, and truly blessed to be getting to know you better and all about your work and what you do. You come right through. I know how heart-centered you are, how authentic you are, and what you truly know to be true, not just about yourself, but what you know to be true in each and every one of us.
Thank you.
You
Thank you.
received that divine message. You really did. So you were listening at the right time. And that's another thing. Everybody, listen. It's a
And
gift you
thank
give
you for
somebody else.
hearing. You've heard it as well. And it's just such a gift to meet people that have journeyed. You've been on the same path, obviously, and come to the same realizations. And there's nothing like it.
There
It's
is
so
nothing
beautiful.
like it. And you know what, Stacy, that's what B.E.P Talks is really all about. It's about people coming and honestly, humbly sharing their beliefs, their experiences, and their passions. And in sharing your story, there will be people who are going to find themselves in your story. Oh, she's
Yeah.
talking to me.
Yep.
She's talking about me. That happens all the time because it's meant to happen. Like you heard the word, you heard the power from above. That's meant to happen when it happens.
Yeah.
So we really hope that B.E.P Talks, really does empower people and inspires people to connect with someone like yourself. And we're all on a journey, but sometimes if you get to a fork in the road, you just need that coach
Yeah.
to
Yep.
say, this is the more beautiful path. This is the sweeter path. This is the shorter path. This one, you don't have to step over all the boulders. This is a
Yeah.
smoother path to travel. Why wouldn't you want to go that way?
Yeah. Expedient paths.
There you go. The shortest distance, a straight.
Yeah.
Stacy, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, your expertise, your true passions with viewers, with me today. I'm so glad, as I said, to have gotten to know you better.
Oh,
And if you've touched one life, you've changed the world. And I know that you have touched many, many lives.
oh, you're such a gift. Thank you so much.
that is, wow. Thank you. Such a kind thing to say. So we say to all of our viewers, you have a story too, and share it. Know that what you have gone through matters to others, and that you, as Stacy is doing through your journey, through your beliefs, experiences, and passions, can be of great value to other people. And this is a wonderful platform for you to share that, because everybody has a story. They're all worth hearing. They're all worth sharing. And we invite you to go to beptalks.com to find out more how to be a guest on BEP Talks. So thanks, everybody. Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you.
As we say at the my pleasure. As we say at the GSEW all the time, may the best always be yet to come.
Oh, amen. Thank you.
Amen. Indeed. So until we talk again, bye for now.